What is good, YouTube, man? Today, back on our banger reaction video, we're reacting to Unsolved Mysteries, Iceberg, part number 63. I see this fool's channel a lot when I'm like, before I'm going to sleep and shit, I kind of watch it, and he be coming out with some bangers. And I never really reacted to him, so today is the day. Let's start this shit, man. It's a nice little sound. What's wrong with this bitch?
On October 4th, 1988, 5-year-old Lauren Jackson vanished from the Park Springs apartment complex in Spring City, Pennsylvania.
Oh my God, where's that at?
Since that evening,
where is that at? Is that near me? Oh shit, it's near Reading. In between Reading and Philly. Oh shit. Oh, it's a little ass spot. Wait, this is little as fuck. Huh.
Lauren has never been found. Despite an exhaustive initial search involving hundreds of volunteers, bloodhounds, helicopters, and professional trackers, no concrete answers have emerged about what happened to the little girl who disappeared
what happened, bro?
of her front door.
How do you just disappear?
On September 26th, 1983, facing incredible odds right from the start.
Is there something wrong with her?
A mixture of severe medical conditions, she struggled with deformed feet known as club foot.
What the fuck is club foot?
Cleft palate, eye muscle problems, hip dysplasia, and hydrocephalus.
Yo.
Doctors told Lauren's parents that there was little to no
She got
hope
dealt
for
the
their
shitty
child's
spoon.
survival.
Is that what it's
But
called? The
Lauren
shitty
proved
hand,
to be
shitty
a
spoon? I
fighter.
don't know.
At just
Sounded
1
right.
month old, she was fitted with a leg cast to help straighten her deformed feet. Because infants grow rapidly, these casts required weekly changes, subjecting the tiny baby to regular
Did that
hospital
shit even
visits.
work?
As she learned to walk, she wore metal braces on her legs to support her developing bones. She also showed issues with her vision early on, requiring glasses from what was described as an unusually young age. She underwent surgery to repair her.
I feel like I had glasses at a young age.
Operation for her
It's 6th, 7th grade, a young age. Hey,
on her lower
I feel that's when I got my
abdomen and on
glasses.
the roof of her mouth.
Yo, I think I've been noticing, bro. When I take my glasses off and shit, and I try to see without my glasses, bro. I think my eye vision gets worse, bro. No, deadass. I think I had good vision, and then I fucked up, had to get glasses, and now my vision's more fucked. I think at first, bro, my eyesight wasn't that bad. Like, I swear, bro, my eyesight was not that bad. I only needed my glasses for, like, school and shit. I remember this shit in middle school, bro. I only needed my glasses for school, bro. I kept wearing them. Bro, my eyes got worse. Now I have to fully wear glasses, bro. Like, you're telling me I gotta wear glasses now? Are you serious? I was just rocking no glasses last week. But now I gotta rock them fully? What changed? You feel me? Am I the only one that's thinking about that? I could be, bro. I could be.
Additional eye surgeries were planned but never performed as
I
Lauren
think they're just
disappeared
doing it
before they could
because they want more
take
money,
place.
bro.
By
I think
age
my
5,
eyes were fine.
Lauren's health
I think
had
they
improved
fucked my eyes up.
dramatically, though she still required orthopedic shoes, which caused one foot to be slightly larger than the other, affecting
that
the
happen?
way she walked. Despite her medical challenges, she had become a happy,
Imagine having one
energetic
bigger
child.
toe than
Friends
the
and
other.
Family often described how she loved singing and dancing around the living room while watching TV. She was particularly fond of the
I don't like this
California
picture.
Raisins, a popular
Can we get away from this,
cartoon
John?
singing group from the 1980s, which
Can I
would
skip it?
actually become a key detail in the investigation.
Thank you.
Approximately 32 days before Lauren's disappearance, her
32?
mother,
That's, like, super
Christine,
specific.
was arrested after attempting to obtain medication through fraudulent means. When her prescription supply ran
does that
out
mean?
and she was unable
You're trying to get some
perform through
Perkinators?
legitimate channels, she called a pharmacy and impersonated a doctor to order more. The pharmacist, suspicious of the call, contacted the physician's office to verify the prescription.
All you fucking pill poppers, if you guys are watching this, don't take notes. Try to be the doctor. You won't get caught, bro. You will not get caught. Like, it wouldn't even be able to trace to you, bro. Like, come on, bro. Think about it. I say, if you're thinking about doing it, just do it.
When it was confirmed that the call was not from an actual doctor, police were notified.
You guys ever see the
Christine was
real?
subsequently arrested.
You ever see the real version, the full version of that video of Shia LaBeouf? Is it Shia LaBeouf? Shia LaBeouf? Him saying, just do it. Bro, there's like a full deep meaning to that shit, bro. He was saying way more than just do it, bro. We got the shitty part. Not gonna lie though, shit went crazy viral. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. But bro, he said some crazy motivational shit. Like that shit's motivational if you really look at what he said before that. You think it's probably just a meme, just a troll? Nah, bro. That shit's real life motivation. Just do it. Just wake up and do it. It's pretty much what he was saying, bro.
When she arrived at the pharmacy to
It's
pick
kinda
up
cool.
the medication. This
I saw the
arrest
full
would have
video on
significant
Instagram the other day.
repercussions for how the public viewed Christine after Lauren disappeared. Initially dismissed by Christine as stupid charges, the arrest became front page news once her daughter went missing. The publicity dramatically shifted public opinion, transforming community support into suspicion. Lauren's father, Mickey, lived separately in Philadelphia,
Who the
about
fuck
30
names their
miles
kids
from
Mickey,
Spring
bro?
City, and maintained regular visitation with his daughter. By all accounts, Mickey adored his daughter. He described his Saturday visits with her as, quote, the best part of his week.
Hell
and
yeah.
told investigators that Lauren was always happy to see him. Years later, he would tell reporters the following: "She was just a nice kid. She was the nicest kid you'll ever meet. I said it to my mother one time. What did I do to deserve her? She was just a sweet kid." However, Mickey harbored serious concerns about Lauren's living situation with Christine. He characterized the Park Springs complex as a
kinda
hotbed
sad, bro.
of drug activity and worried about his daughter growing up in that environment. In the months leading up to Lauren's disappearance, Mickey had discussed seeking full custody of Lauren, though he had not.
Yo. Wait, what the fuck just popped up on my computer? Do you guys think the mom has something to do with it? Talking about all this drugs and shit? Maybe, bro. She ran out of her prescription. She tried to get some off the streets, bro. And what if that kid got taken, or she sold him, sold her? My bad. Fuck, that was disrespectful. Fuck.
Not yet filed any legal paperwork. The relationship between Mickey and Christine was described as extremely volatile. Mickey claimed he had ended the relationship and kicked Christine out before their separation, while Christine alleged that she left because Mickey was abusive, claims he vehemently denied. Despite their mutual
So who's in the
hostility,
wrong?
even Christine
So I think it's just a
acknowledged that
toxic
Mickey
fucking
had never
couple,
been
bro.
abusive toward Lauren and genuinely loved his daughter. He also admitted to his own struggles with alcohol addiction, a fact that added complexity to all potential custody battles. October 4th, 1988 began like any other Tuesday. For 5-year-old Lauren, it marked exactly.
I want to challenge you to create a
Yo,
8,800
those my same glasses, bro?
online
They almost got
business.
me.
1 week since her 5th birthday. The sun would set that evening around 6:45
That's wild.
p.m., a time when parents in the Park Springs apartment complex typically allowed their children to play outdoors under the watchful eyes of neighbors and the ambient light from apartment windows.
Okay.
One noteworthy detail that evening was that Christine made a decision that seemed out of the routine at the time. She decided that
What'd she
she'd
do?
take Lauren and her 12-year-old half-sister Diana out for dinner. The
Oh,
trio
God.
left their apartment sometime between 6 o'clock and 6:30 p.m., though the exact departure time was never specified in public reports. The trio headed to a local fast food restaurant, and everything that occurred during that outing seemed pretty normal. Christine,
Okay.
Lauren, and Diana ate their meal, chatted, and prepared to return home. The family arrived back at the apartment complex around 7:15 p.m., and almost immediately, Lauren asked her mother for permission to go
What are we thinking
outside
about
and
this?
play with the other kids. By this time, the sun had set,
I'm smelling something
but there
fishy.
was some illumination from the street lamps. The presence of other children set Christine's mind at ease, and she allowed her daughter to go out. Little did she know that this decision would haunt her for the rest of her life.
Why?
Lauren exited the apartment and headed into the common areas of the complex where other children were playing. She
Okay.
was wearing a white long-sleeve pullover shirt featuring a California raisin character printed on both the front and back, black knit pants that
So-
had a stain on the back, white socks, and white
So she's
knit-cropped
standing out.
sneakers with pink laces. Meanwhile, Diana had other plans for the evening. She had secured a
Bro.
babysitting job with the neighbors in the complex and was preparing to go to their apartment to watch their children.
What?
Lauren, who adored her big sister, asked if she could come along, but she declined. Lauren, disappointed but understanding, went outside to find other people to play with. Christine, now alone in the apartment with Diana having left for her babysitting job, turned her attention to household tasks. Around 7:30 p.m., approximately 15 minutes after they had returned home, Christine went to the window and looked outside to
She
check
wasn't
on
there?
Lauren's whereabouts. She
She
saw
wasn't
her
there?
playing approximately 30 yards away in front of an adjacent building, well within the complex boundaries.
Who was she playing with,
appeared
though?
safe and happy. She was on the ground digging in the dirt with a 6-year-old neighborhood boy. This child was the son of Lisa Cunningham, another resident of the complex. From Christine's vantage point at the window, everything appeared normal and safe. At
So what
some
happened?
point between 7:30 and 7:35 p.m., Lisa called her son back inside their apartment. The two were preparing to go shopping, and she needed him to come in, get cleaned up, and get ready for the outing.
Was she
The
still
little
with
boy
him?
said goodbye to Lauren and headed
Okay.
into his building, leaving Lauren playing alone in the dirt. After just a few minutes, Lisa and her son exited their apartment to leave, and they noticed that Lauren was no longer playing in the area.
Why?
Around 7:50 p.m., approximately 20 minutes after Christine had last looked out and seen Lauren playing with the Cunningham boy, she went to the window again to check
She
on her
wasn't there?
daughter. This time, Lauren was nowhere to be seen. Initially, this absence would not have triggered immediate panic. The Park Springs apartment complex was sprawling, comprising
What does that mean?
151 units spread across multiple buildings. Children playing in such an environment routinely moved from one location to another.
So she could
Christine's
just be
first
somewhere?
assumption was that Lauren had simply moved to a different part of the complex. However, as the
Did you
minutes
go out and
continued to
check
tick
on her?
by without Lauren returning to the apartment or coming into view, Christine's concern began to grow. At some point, she decided she needed to go outside and look for Lauren more actively. What followed
Clearly.
was an hour and
Dumb
15
bitch.
minutes of increasingly desperate searching. Christine left her apartment and began walking through the Park Springs complex, calling Lauren's name, checking the various areas where children
Bro,
typically
it's
played,
not hard to
and
spot a
asking neighbors
fucking
if they
little-
had seen her daughter. The
I was,
complex was
I was gonna say a little crippled, but that's definitely fucked up. That's definitely super fucked up. But bro, she was clear as day. Like you probably see her limping and shit. Like she can't really run that fast. No way. No chance she's running. So it's like Forrest Gump. Like you can clearly tell who she is.
large
This is
enough
fucked.
that this search took considerable time. With each passing minute, Christine's anxiety escalated until she reached
Yeah.
full-blown panic, realizing that something had happened to her daughter. At 9:15
Really?
p.m., more than 2 hours after Christine had last seen her daughter playing in the dirt, Christine made a call to the police and reported that her 5-year-old
Smart.
daughter
Fuck.
was missing. Within minutes of the call, police officers arrived at the complex. The search had mobilized.
Bro, is this
hundreds
video
of
AI?
community volunteers,
Is this AI
including
sound or is this a
professional
real
tracking
guy?
teams, bloodhounds,
You never know
helicopters,
now.
and more. The initial search radius covered.
We could be watching an
approximately
AI
8
video,
square
bro.
miles of Chester County's
I didn't even
still
think about that.
rural landscape. Teams checked every garage, car, dumpster, and outbuilding, and searched wooded areas, marshlands, and open fields. One of the most challenging aspects of the search involved the abandoned Pennhurst State Hospital, which fell within the
What is
search
that?
perimeter. The massive former institution had been shut down for several years, leaving behind a large campus of deteriorating buildings. Search
Why
teams
would a
had to
fucking
navigate
little
not
ass
only
kid
the
go there?
dangerous crumbling structures above ground, but also an extensive network of underground tunnels that connected the buildings. These
No way.
passages were dark, damp, and in advanced
Is
states
she
of
in the
decay,
underground tunnel?
making them treacherous for searchers. Ultimately,
way.
neither the bloodhounds nor the volunteers found.
Do you guys think there is tunnels going across the whole United States? In the whole world, bro? You think you can get from... I think you can get from here to the UK. And there's tunnels. I think, bro. I think there's tunnels all throughout the world, bro. 100%. Definitely all throughout the United States. 100%. Maybe even from here to Canada, too. Should we go down a rabbit hole? Nah, I don't want to do it too. I don't want to do it
anything.
too.
Over the course of the investigation, dive teams dragged nearly 20 ponds in the surrounding area, searching for any sign that Lauren might have fallen into water. However, every
she
search
fall?
came
Can she
up
swim?
empty. 2 days after Lauren's disappearance, investigators found a small footprint along Park Springs Boulevard near a public payphone, approximately 50 yards from Lauren's apartment. The footprint was believed to belong to Lauren, providing the first clue about her possible route away from the complex. Bloodhounds were used to trail this print and eventually led
Where was she?
investigators to the Vincent Motel, which was about 1 mile away from the apartment complex. But unfortunately, the
confused
dogs
here.
could not detect Lauren's scent inside the motel and could not continue beyond the parking lot. The most agreed upon explanation was that Lauren had been placed into a vehicle at that location.
Well,
What made
obviously,
this
she
evidence
definitely got abducted,
particularly
bro.
significant and
She definitely got
puzzling was the
kidnapped, bro.
nature of the trail itself.
When was this?
The dogs followed a relatively direct path from the apartments to the motel, not the meandering, erratic route that one would expect from a lost 5-year-old wandering aimlessly.
5-year-old, bro,
The
yeah,
path
damn.
suggested Lauren was either walking with someone she knew and trusted or was being led to a specific destination. As the physical search continued, detectives shifted
could be
their
true.
focus to
I don't know.
interviews and background investigations.
What do you guys think?
Following standard protocol in missing child cases, they began with family members. Christine told investigators she believed Lauren had been kidnapped. She insisted Lauren knew that she was not allowed to leave the apartment.
Bro, imagine being a cop and detective when there was like no cameras, no technology or nothing, bro. How long did it really take to find the bulls, bro? No technology, no nothing. You don't know shit. You got no leads. All you hear is stories. You don't even know which ones are right or wrong because you can't look it up. Damn. You ain't never even thought about that. But I know I did. All right. My bad.
Apartment complex without adult supervision. The girl had once gotten in trouble for leaving the complex with a group of children who were walking to a nearby store, and
Are you
Christine was
serious?
confident her daughter had learned her lesson and wouldn't disobey again. She simply
Oh,
could
so
not
she-
accept
this
that
bitch
Lauren would have
did
wandered
that shit
away
before.
on her own. Diana was devastated
She already
by
been
her
wandering
sister's
away.
disappearance and
Fuck.
blamed herself for refusing to let Lauren go babysitting with her that evening. She reiterated what her mother had said about Lauren being shy around strangers. And
Don't
would
say
not
it's all
have
your fault, bro.
willingly
That's
gone
not your
with someone
fault.
She didn't know.
That's not your
From the
fault,
very
man.
beginning, Mickey, Lauren's father, held a different view. He firmly believed Christine was involved in the disappearance.
See?
though not necessarily
Like
in
what
a
I said,
criminal
bro.
way.
I think she was
Mickey's theory
involved,
was
too.
that Christine, overwhelmed by the challenges of single motherhood and facing a potential custody battle she might lose, gave Lauren away to ensure he couldn't gain custody. However, Mickey could offer no evidence
Are
to
you
support his
serious?
theory. It remained purely speculative, based on his perception of Christine's character
You guys
and
think that?
motivations. For
I think
2
he might
months,
have.
The
She might have.
investigation proceeded with the assumption that a stranger had abducted Lauren.
I think-
Then, in December 1988, a witness came forward with information that dramatically shifted the focus.
I want to challenge
Ugh.
you to create a 300
It was coming fucking perfectly, bruh.
with me 100
of the investigation.
What
the
happened?
woman told police that on the evening of October
What
4th,
happened?
around 7 p.m., she had been in the parking lot of the James Way Mall when she witnessed a disturbing scene. She claimed to have seen a woman matching Christine's description
Drop
forcing
off?
a child matching Lauren's description into the back of a car. According to the witness, the little girl was screaming while
Oh my God!
the child over to an elderly couple in the parked vehicle.
I fucking caught it!
Coat, who was with the East Vincent Police Department at the time, found this account compelling. The following day, James drove to Christine's apartment unannounced, and the witness and FBI agents watched from across the street.
Dude.
Christine emerged. The witness identified her, claiming to be 100% positive that this was the woman she had seen at the mall. James believed he had enough for an arrest. However, the Chester County District Attorney's Office
That's
disagreed
enough.
and dissuaded him from making an arrest.
No.
citing serious
No,
problems
she just
with
got
the
away.
account. The witness insisted the mall incident occurred at 7 p.m. However, multiple independent witnesses, including the Cunningham family and other neighbors, confirmed seeing Lauren playing at the apartment complex at 7:30 p.m., a full 30 minutes after the alleged mall
What if it
incident.
was 6:30?
Unless Lauren could be in 2 places at once, the witness's timeline was impossible.
I don't fuck with-
Additionally,
nah, I
the
don't believe
witness
it.
waited
I don't
more
believe
than
it.
2 months before coming forward with this supposedly traumatic information. When someone witnesses a child being forced into a car while screaming in protest, the typical response is is to immediately call the police
That
or
is true.
intervene. A delay of over 60 days raised serious questions about the witness's motivations and the reliability of her memory. By December 1988, Christine's case had been extensively publicized due to not only her daughter's disappearance, but also for her arrest on drug charges in
She got arrested?
November. During this time, Christine had been featured in numerous
Oh,
newspapers
shit.
and interviews by reporters. When the witness identified her 2 months after the alleged incident, it was impossible to determine whether she was recognizing Christine from the supposed October 4th encounter or simply recognizing her from media coverage. Furthermore, the witness claimed Christine was handing Lauren to an elderly couple, but provided license plate or any other identifying details that could be investigated. Despite these problems, the witness statement
this is a fucking weird case. I'm not liking this one.
Direction and on public perception of Christine's involvement.
Not fucking with this.
In the early 1990s, the question of whether Christine played a role in her daughter's disappearance was serious enough to warrant presentation to a grand jury. This 4-month investigation represented the most intensive examination of potential parental involvement in the case.
Okay.
Grand jury proceedings
What
are
happened?
conducted in secret to protect the integrity of investigations and the reputations of potentially innocent people under scrutiny. In the legal system, a grand jury's decision not to indict typically indicates that prosecutors lacked sufficient evidence to establish probable cause that a crime had been committed. After 4 months of investigation and
I don't even know what that
deliberation,
means.
the grand jury declined to indict
Let's just keep
Christine.
watching.
However, this decision did little to quell public speculation,
Why?
particularly among those who had been influenced by media coverage of Christine's substance problems and the controversial witness statement. Over 37 years, investigators, family members, and true crime enthusiasts have proposed numerous theories to explain Lauren's disappearance. The most prominent theory remains abduction, which is the official working theory held by the East Vincent Police Department. Supporting this theory,
That's what
is
she
the
would be
bloodhound
looking
trail
like right
found
now?
at the motel, which suggests
No
Lauren was
way.
in a vehicle. Additionally, the lack of physical evidence or witnesses seeing Lauren leave with a family member.
That's what she would look like right now?
An 11-year-old
Bro,
witness
AI is
claimed to
crazy.
see a white male forcing Lauren into a vehicle also provided some support. However, this account was never substantiated. The proximity to Route 7.
So this is getting a whole lot of dead ends. Whole lot of nothing.
To quickly leave
The
region.
fuck?
But this
What are these
theory
cops
does
doing?
have its weaknesses. No one at the apartment complex reported seeing suspicious strangers in the area. Multiple witnesses saw Lauren within 100
So the
feet
mom
of
knows
her,
exactly what happened.
meaning an abduction would have had to occur in a very brief window. Another theory posits that Lauren, despite her mother's
She got taken out of the
certainty that
window?
she wouldn't leave the complex, was distracted by something and wandered toward the road, eventually becoming lost. 5-year-old children don't always think
Does she have
logically
one eye?
and can be easily distracted. Something near the road could have caught her attention. Young children can travel surprising distances in short periods when motivated.
Is she
and the
legally
footprint
blind or
found
something?
along
Does
Park
that
Street
eye not even work?
Boulevard suggests she did walk in that direction. Some have speculated that Lauren was accidentally struck by a vehicle on the route, and the driver, in a panic, took her body to avoid prosecution. The Bloodhound Trail led to a road with vehicle traffic, and hit-and-run accidents do occur, with panicked drivers known to have concealed their involvement. However,
What
this
is, bro?
theory
I
lacks
feel like this is a
supporting
whole lot of
evidence.
bullshit
No
talking in my
physical
ear, right?
evidence such as blood,
The fuck?
broken
Like,
glass,
I'm
plastic
not
fragments,
understanding
or
nothing.
skid marks was found on the roadway
Skid marks?
despite thorough searches. An intriguing
Who
but
wakes up with skid
unconfirmed
marks in
theory
their
suggests
undies?
that members of Christine's extended family, concerned about substance activity in the Park Springs complex and Lauren's living conditions, took the child without Christine's knowledge to rescue her from an unsuitable environment. Unverified rumors circulated that out-of-state members of Christine's family were staying at the Vincent Motel when Lauren disappeared, which would explain why the Bloodhound Trail led to that specific location. This would also explain why Lauren went willingly, as she would have recognized family members. Walking from the complex to the motel rather than driving would avoid the risk of Christine recognizing their vehicle. Though investigators were never able to confirm that Christine's family members were actually staying at the motel. If family members were concerned about the living conditions, why would they take only Lauren and leave 12-year-old Diana in the same environment?
That is true.
This would require
No, that is true.
silence lasting 37 years, with family members never revealing what happened.
Wow.
Some have even suggested that Mickey may have been responsible for abducting Lauren. The
She
family
could
court
have.
system's bias toward mothers in 1988 could have convinced him that he couldn't win custody through legal channels.
So he was gonna take
he
her.
took matters into his own hands.
There's a
Mickey
lot of
had openly
conspiracies you could
discussed
do
seeking
here.
full custody and
Which one are we
expressed
thinking?
concerns about Lauren's living conditions. This theory would explain why Diana
There's a
was
lot
left
of
behind,
theories to
as
this.
Mickey wasn't her biological
And I'm not liking
father.
this.
But after Mickey was investigated as a suspect and cleared by officials, this theory began to fall apart. He
Why?
has remained publicly committed to finding Lauren for nearly 4 decades, traveling to Florida to investigate tips and speaking to the media.
So he's been
regularly.
still
If
trying to
Mickey
look
had
for her.
taken Lauren, he would have needed to completely conceal her identity and whereabouts for decades. In 2011, Christine passed away. Her obituary, published
Rest
in
in peace.
Philadelphia area newspapers, listed Diana as her surviving
Do you think-
child, but made no mention of Lauren.
I'm
This
saying, do you think
omission
Lauren's
struck
still
many as
alive?
Significant, though its meaning remains open to interpretation. As for Mickey, he has never stopped looking for answers. In a
I don't think she's
2022
still alive,
interview,
bro.
he
There's no
told
way.
CBS News that he was never going to give up on the search. Now, in his
Bro, I swear, I seen a story one time where a kid got abducted, and they like, it was a mom and dad, bro. They like must have been on drugs or something. I think, I don't know. I could be wrong, but bro, they took this kid from a fair, bro, and dyed his hair, changed like his eye color with some like context, and just like kept him. And was trying to raise this kid, bro. It was the craziest shit ever. It could be fake, could be a fake story I read, but it also could be real. I don't know. I don't even know when I
later
read that.
years, he
It sounded like
faces
I
the
read it. I don't know, bro.
possibility
It could be
that
fake
he
story.
may
All right, I
never
could have made
know
just
what
I could have
happened
just
to
made
his
that one up.
daughter. Yet he continues to hope that someone, somewhere, knows something that could finally solve this mystery.
The babysitter killer.
From
Jesus.
1976 to 1977,
What?
at least 4 children were abducted and held captive for days or weeks before being brutally murdered.
my shit
The killer
surround
did
sound?
not murder impulsively.
I don't know.
Instead, they
Motherfucker
maintained a
ugly.
secure environment where children could be kept alive.
He got the flow, though.
fed, bathed, and
Wait, he
cared
got the
for.
flow.
This led to the killer earning the moniker of the babysitter. On the afternoon of Sunday, February 15th, 1976, Mark
Imagine.
Stebbins attended an American Legion Hall in Ferndale, Michigan to watch movies with friends. Around 1:30 p.m., Mark told his friends he was leaving to go home to watch television, but he never arrived home. He was last
you
seen
dead
walking
ass?
away from the hall wearing a distinctive blue parka with a hood.
How is it a
The
bit?
word cuppa, as in cup of tea, I thought would be great to mix with hug. When I saw the domain was available, I was like, I'm taking it.
Bro.
blue
Why is he called a babysitter killer? He's not
jeans,
babysitting the kids.
His mother, who
Wait,
worked at 2 jobs
let's
to support
beat
the
this down.
family,
Let's get
reported
this
him
down.
missing when he failed to return for dinner. Initially, police treated the disappearance as a runaway case.
All right,
4
yeah.
days later,
I
on
guess you could say that.
February 19th, at approximately
don't know.
11:45 a.m., a local businessman named Mark Bodeckheimer left his office building in Southfield, located at 10 Mile
Where's
and
that at?
Greenfield Roads. As he walked through the parking lot, he noticed a shape lying atop a snowbank in the northeast corner of
Bro,
the
my
lot.
headphones are
At
hurting
first,
my
he
ears,
mistook it
bro. I
for
need
a
bigger
mannequin dressed
headphones.
in blue clothing. As he drew closer, he
Bro.
realized that it was
Is it true, bro? Do your ears grow every year? Is that true? Don't your ears grow? Like that's the one thing that doesn't like stop growing is your ears. Or am I tripping? I don't know.
the body of
Sounded
Mark
right.
Stebbins. The condition of the body provided the first glimpse into the killer's unusual psychology. Mark was laid
So what
out
happened?
neatly, fully clothed in the same outfit he had been wearing when abducted. However, the clothes were not in the condition one would expect after 4 days of captivity. They were clean, dry, and appeared to have been freshly laundered and pressed. The autopsy revealed that Mark had been suffocated and his body showed signs of sexual assault with a foreign object.
What?
There were rope burns on his wrists and ankles, indicating he had been bound during his captivity. 2 small lacerations were found on the rear of his head, suggesting he may have been struck or subdued initially. After 10 months had passed without a linked incident, the local community began to believe that the danger had passed for good. That silence was broken days before Christmas. On the evening of
On
December
Christmas.
22nd, 1976,
Oh.
Jill Robinson had an argument with her mother regarding dinner preparations.
Okay.
Upset, she packed a small backpack with clothing and a blanket, took her bicycle, and left her home in Royal Oak.
No
Her
way.
father, Thomas, called the police at 11:30 p.m. that night to report her missing. The next day, her bicycle was discovered behind a hobby store on Woodward Avenue, a major thoroughfare in the area.
So she went to go
Witnesses later
fake run
reported
away,
seeing Jill at a
and then
nearby
never actually
building
went back
shop
home.
between 6 o'clock and 7 a.m. the morning after she left home,
No
suggesting
way.
she had survived the night on her own before encountering her killer. She remained missing for 3 more days. On the morning of December 26th,
So
her body
she was alive for a
discovered
day,
along the
just
shoulder
chilling?
of Interstate.
Let's get it back started.
Significantly from the other cases in its method of execution.
What
While
happened?
the other victims were suffocated,
Who
Jill
got
was
executed?
killed by a shotgun blast to the face.
What?
She was found fully clothed, wearing her blue backpack, and lying on her back.
Holy
The
shit, she
autopsy
got one
confirmed she had
pumped?
been fed and cared for during her captivity, which lasted at least 3 days. Unlike Mark Stebbins, Jill showed no ligature marks on her wrists or ankles, suggesting she was not bound. There were also no signs of sexual assault. This lack of assault and restraint.
So he's
has
gay.
speculation
We got a
that
gay
Jill may
killer
have
on the
been a
loose.
failed abduction. Perhaps she was too rebellious, or her age and gender did not fit the killer's specific profile, leading to her execution by firearm rather than the more personal method of suffocation used in the other instances.
Yeah, bro, what the
Just
fuck?
A week after Jill was found, the terror escalated.
Again?
Sunday, January 2nd,
So we got a killer on the
1977,
loose.
10-year-old Christine Mahalik left her home in Berkeley to buy a magazine at a 7-Eleven store at 12 Mile Road in Oakshire. She was seen at the store purchasing the magazine, but vanished on the short walk back home. Christine remained missing for 19 days, the longest.
Is this like
period
a
of
common
captivity
thing
for
back then?
any
Like all
of
the
known
kids are just
victims.
walking around?
The #1 family movie in America.
David. Bro, I think this might be a bad take or a good take. I think the old Disney and Pixar animations are 10 times better than all these new Johns, bro. This shit looks retarded. It looks like all AI, bro. Looks like I can do that shit on fucking Sora. On Google Velo.
Victims. During this time, the community was in a state of high alert. Parents began driving their children to school, and unsupervised play vanished from the streets of Oakland County. On January 21st,
Where's that at?
a mail carrier named Jerry Wozni was driving.
Bro, you know what I be thinking? I deadass think that there's hundreds, I think hundreds of serial killers on the loose, bro. Think about it. Big cities like New York, Los Angeles, Texas, that's a state. Miami, maybe Nashville. I don't know any other big cities. But, bro, Memphis? Is that a big city? I don't know. But, bro, I think that there's hundreds, if not thousands, bro, of serial killers on the loose. And I want to say serial killer, I mean, there's three or more bodies. That's what you could probably consider a serial killer. 3 or more bodies in a significant amount of time. So say in like a month span, you kill 3 people, you're a serial killer. 100%. If you kill 3 people in a week, you're like a psycho serial killer. Like we need you to be locked away forever, bro.
Franklin Village.
That's
He
just me.
spotted
I don't
what
know.
looked like a blue bundle in a snowbank on the side of Bruce Road,
What
a
does that mean?
quiet dead-end street. This bundle was Christine's body.
No!
Fully clothed in the same outfit she had been wearing at 19.
Did she get shot in the face?
Like the others, her body was clean. Her eyes had been closed and her arms were folded across her chest. She lay within sight of nearby homes, yet no one had seen the body being dropped off. The autopsy stated that she had been suffocated to death. Despite the 2-week captivity, there were no signs of long-term physical abuse, malnutrition, or torture. She had been fed and maintained. However, her body was frozen solid, which delayed the autopsy until the following day. There was
How's
no
her body
evidence of
frozen?
assault, aligning her case more with Jill Robinson.
So that bull was really gay.
Stebbins through the method of death and the clean presentation. The third victim was named Timothy King. The abduction of Timothy is perhaps the most heartbreaking and forensically significant of the 4 cases. By March 1977, Oakland County was in a state of
Why they
siege.
say that?
A massive task force had been assembled, and everyone was well aware of the babysitter moniker. On the evening of Wednesday, March 16th, Timothy asked his older sister for 30 cents to buy candy. He grabbed his skateboard and left his home in Birmingham to skate to the Hunter Maple.
Bro, all this shit's happening around around these people, and their parents aren't like cautious. Like, yo, nah, don't go right now. There's a killer on the loose. And you still sent him to go get some candy. This is insane. This is insane.
Located just a few blocks away on heavily trafficked Woodward Avenue. He was a well-liked athletic boy who played football.
Bro, he was like 6.
As street smart. He arrived at the pharmacy, bought his candy, and was seen by a clerk leaving through the rear exit, which led into a dark parking lot. A witness in the parking lot later reported seeing a boy matching Timothy's description talking to a man standing next to a vehicle.
No.
The witness described the man as a white male, possibly
That's the
wearing
fucking
a leather
killer.
jacket, and the car as a blue AMC Gremlin with a white stripe on the side. This sighting would become the most critical lead in the investigation.
That is a great lead.
Generating thousands of tips about blue gremlins. When the boy failed to return home by 9 p.m., his parents Barry and Marion knew something was wrong. They found the door ajar, but no sign of their son. The police were notified immediately. Unlike in the Stebbins case, the response was instantaneous. A massive dragnet was launched involving hundreds of officers and volunteers. In the days that followed, Barry made an agonizing televised plea to the abductor. Fighting back tears, he begged for his son's life, promising that if Timothy was released, no questions would be asked. In an attempt to humanize his son to the captor, he mentioned that Timothy was a good boy whose favorite food was Kentucky Fried Chicken. Marion penned a letter in the Detroit News expressing her hope to serve him that meal again soon. The child was missing for 6 days total. On the evening of March 22nd, 2 teenagers driving along Jill Road in Livonia, a semi-rural area in neighboring Wayne County, spotted a body in a shallow ditch, which was later confirmed to be Timothy. He was found fully clothed, his skateboard placed neatly beside him. His clothes, like Mark Stebbins, had been freshly pressed. His fingernails were manicured, and he was described as, quote, clinically clean.
What the fuck?
The autopsy revealed that Timothy had been suffocated and sexually assaulted with
he was gay.
Object, but an examination of his stomach contents revealed that his last meal, eaten shortly before his death,
Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Fried chicken. The killer had been watching the news. He had heard the father's plea, acquired the boy's favorite food, fed it to him, and then killed him.
What?
This act demonstrated a terrifying level of control and engagement with
what
the
fuck?
Dr. Werner
That's some real criminal mind shit.
Who performed the autopsy noted that the suffocation and assault.
Wait, he got a Fortnite hat.
At least 6 hours before the body was found. The discovery of Timothy King marked the end of the known abduction sequence. For nearly 5 decades, the investigation has been marred by jurisdictional disputes, lost evidence, and allegations of high-level cover-ups. Yet, one figure remains central to the most credible theories of the crime, Christopher Brian Bush. A wealthy, convicted pedophile with deep ties to several Michigan elites, Bush fits the forensic and psychological profile of the killer more closely than any other suspect.
Why?
In 1978, the disturbing evidence found in his bedroom and the DNA breakthrough in 2012 collectively paint a picture of a predator who was likely protected by his connections and privilege until he became a liability. Christopher was born into the upper echelons of Detroit society.
They've been on this pedophile shit.
Bush, the chief financial officer of General Motors, a position of immense power and influence in 1970s Michigan. Raised in Bloomfield Township, an affluent area known as the Village, Bush enjoyed a life of privilege, attending elite schools, including a boarding school in Switzerland. Despite his family's standing, Bush's behavior was deeply disturbed. By the mid-1970s, he was a known with a distinct preference for boys. He drove a blue 1974 Chevrolet Vega with a white stripe, a vehicle that bore a striking resemblance to the blue AMC Gremlin with a white stripe reported by witnesses at the abduction of Timothy King.
That
In
could be the
January
exact car.
1977, right in the middle of the babysitter killing spree, Bush was facing criminal conduct charges in 4 different Michigan counties, including
Damn.
Midland, Montmorency, Genesee,
The
and
fuck?
Oakland. These charges stemmed from the assault of multiple young boys. Under normal circumstances, facing 4 concurrent crime
He got a
indictments
weirdo on the
results in
creek.
significant jail time and high bail. However, Bush's treatment by the legal system
He got
was
out.
highly anomalous. While his co-conspirator in these crimes, Gregory Green, was held on a $75,000 bond and
He looks at the
eventually
sketches.
sentenced to life in prison, Bush's bond was inexplicably reduced to just $1,000, allowing him to walk free. He ultimately received only probation for his crimes.
Wow.
Leniency allowed a serial predator to remain on the streets during the exact window when Christine and Timothy were abducted and murdered. The disparity between the treatment of Green and Bush speaks to the protective shield that surrounded Bush due to his family's wealth and power. The investigation into Bush intensified due to a tip from an informant. In early 1977, Green, facing a life sentence and likely looking for leverage, told investigators that Bush was responsible for the babysitter killings. Green claimed that Bush had confessed to killing Mark Stebbins, the first victim. He
Okay.
provided details that aligned with the geography of the crimes, noting that Bush liked to hunt for victims in Ferndale, Royal Oak, and
We got some
Berkeley,
fucking
the
weirdos on the
locations
loose,
where
bruh.
the first 3 victims were taken.
Say
Despite this
what?
damning accusation from a known associate, both Green and Bush were given
Bro.
polygraph tests. The result
Wait, did this book get Kirkified? Why does this man look like Charlie Kirk, bro? Yo, did this YouTuber Kirkify this bull? Am I the only one that's noticing this?
results were controversial. Initial examiners claimed they passed, while later reviews by independent experts suggested Bush had failed or that the results were inconclusive. The polygraph controversy has become one of the most contested aspects of the case, with victim families arguing that Bush's suspected failure was deliberately buried to protect him.
Nice.
Relying on the past polygraph, law enforcement cleared Bush as a primary suspect in the murders, a decision that would haunt the case for decades.
Fuck.
I'm looking for individuals who are 22 to 35 and have a burning desire to break free from the traditional
decades. As mentioned, the killing stopped.
I'm already breaking free the
March
Matrix.
1977. 20 months later, on November 20th, 1978, Christopher Bush was found dead.
Bro, I feel like all of these fucking, so far, these 2 stories, bro, no one's been really arrested, bro. No one's really been fucking caught. What were they doing back then? Jerking each other off, bro? Not doing shit? The fuck?
In his bedroom.
That shit was funny. That was so funny, wasn't it?
The death was ruled a. Bush had shot himself with a .22 caliber rifle. However,
Wow.
the circumstances
Do you
of
think
the
he really did it,
incident
though?
were highly suspicious. Autopsy reports revealed there was no gunshot residue found on Bush's hands, a forensic anomaly for a self-inflicted gunshot.
So he
wound
did not
using
do
a
it.
Rifle. Additionally, he was found tucked into bed, wrapped in blankets, a position that some investigators found inconsistent with a violent suicide involving a fatal rifle shot. Furthermore, the death occurred just as the task force responsible for the case was preparing to disband. To this day, many researchers and family members question whether Bush's death was truly a
That
suicide
was
or
not a
whether he
suicide,
was
bro.
silenced to prevent
He was
revelations about
tech-
his family connections and the Pale Ring's broader operations. When police raided his room following the incident, they discovered a
I'm not even
trail
gonna
of
say too
evidence
much,
that
bro. I
linked
might
him
get banned on
physically
YouTube
and
if I start
psychologically
saying what
to
I
the
really
murders.
think.
Pinned to the wall of his bedroom was a hand-drawn pencil sketch of a screaming boy. The boy in the drawing bore a terrifying resemblance to Mark Stebbins. The child in the sketch was depicted with a haircut identical to Stebbins and, most damningly, was wearing a hooded parka. Stebbins was abducted wearing a similar blue hooded parka
What
on
the
February
fuck?
15th, 1976. The drawing captured the raw terror of a child with his mouth open in what appeared to be an anguished scream. Investigators believe this image was a sort of trophy, either drawn in real time or from memory, for the killer to relive the crime. Since
What
Bush
in
had
the
no
fuck?
known artistic talent, it is suspected the sketch may have been drawn by an accomplice or another member of the ring. Police also found a length of rope in Bush's closet, which was tied in specific ligature knots that matched the burn marks found on Stebbins' wrists and ankles. The presence of this rope, kept in Bush's private space years after the murders, suggested obsessive behavior consistent with a predator who relived his crimes through physical souvenirs. Shotgun shells were found in the room as well. While they were never ballistically matched to the weapon that killed Jill Robinson, who was shot in the face with a shotgun, the presence of the ammunition in the room of a suspect linked to the murder was highly significant. On another note, Bush was known to be obsessive about cleanliness, a trait that aligns perfectly with the killer's profile of washing the victims' bodies and clothes. Investigators noted that his bedroom was meticulously organized, and he was known to change clothes frequently and shower multiple times daily.
And was
This
still a fat
obsessive
fuck.
hygiene habit, combined with his access to residential facilities where children could be bathed and clothed before disposal, made Bush a compelling suspect. Tragically, much of this physical evidence, including the bloody ropes, went missing from police storage in the years following the investigation, preventing modern DNA testing on the ligatures themselves. This loss of evidence, whether through incompetence or deliberate removal, has been cited by victim families as further proof of institutional malfeasance.
I don't know what I think about this, bro.
For over 30 years, the connection between
that's
Bush
like
and
that's
the
just
victims
like
remained a circumstantial.
this is
That
literally
changed in
the
2012
Epstein shit,
when
bro.
advanced DNA
Like this is
technologies
literally
opened
the
new
Epstein shit.
investigative possibilities. DNA testing was performed
The
on a
fuck?
single hair found
Well, not
on the
literally,
clothing
but
of
you got
Christine,
get it.
the third victim, who had been held for 19 days before her body was discovered in Franklin Village. The DNA did not match Bush himself, but it was a mitochondrial match to James Vincent Gunnels. Gunnels was not a random stranger. In 1976 and 1977, he was a teenager who was a known associate and victim of Christopher Bush. Gunnels admitted to being part of Bush's social circle and to being molested by him. He told investigators he had spent time in Bush's Blue Vega and at the Bush family's cottage, a property in northern Michigan that has long been
The
suspected
Bush
as
family.
a possible location where victims
Was
were
he
held.
related to
This
the
evidence
Bushes?
was the smoking gun the families had waited for. It physically placed a member of Bush's inner circle in direct contact with one of the victims. While he denied involvement in the murder, claiming his hair could have been transferred via the car seat or a blanket, the implication was clear. The victims
know.
were in Bush's car or in a
don't believe that.
location where Bush and his associates congregated. However, despite this genetic evidence, Gunnels was never charged with murder in connection with the cases. Another disturbing layer of the mystery is its potential connection to a high-level pedophile ring operating on North Fox Island, a private island in Lake Michigan located in the Straits of Mackinac. North Fox Island was owned by Francis Sheldon, a wealthy philanthropist and oil heir whose family had substantial business interests. In the mid-1970s,
All these
Sheldon
motherfuckers with
established
power
a
are just
facility
fucking
on the
creeps, bro.
island called
Creeps.
Brother Paul's Children's Mission, ostensibly a nature retreat and camp for underprivileged and troubled youth. In reality, the island was a hub for the production of illegal pornography and sexual exploitation. Boys were flown to the island on private planes, isolated from the mainland.
Whoa, what does this sound
The
like?
operation was insulated from detection by Sheldon's extreme
Yo.
wealth, the island's geographical isolation, and what many have described as a cover-up. Sheldon maintained connections
He low-key
to
look like
powerful
Epstein, bro.
individuals in
Could be his
Michigan
dad.
and nationally. When the North Fox Island ring was finally exposed in the late 1970s, shortly after the babysitter murders ceased, Sheldon fled the United States and eventually died in Europe, evading prosecution. The connection between the murders and the island is largely
fucking right there.
circumstantial but compelling in its logic. Christopher
No, they
Bush,
gotta go.
the primary
Do a lot of editing.
a suspect in the murders, was known to be part of Sheldon's circle.
Wow.
Investigators and family members have long theorized that the victims were not random targets of a lone predator, but were procured for the North Fox Island operation. Under this theory, children would be abducted locally, held at a secure location, fed and cared for, and then either transported to the island for exploitation, or if deemed unsuitable or too damaged to be used, discarded in high visibility areas as a taunt.
Are we fucking hearing that right? And you're telling me they were doing that back then? You know how bigger and crazier it is right now? What in the fuck?
Gesture toward law enforcement. The logic of this
I'm
theory
not-
rests on the
I might get
unusual
banned for
signature
exposing
of
this
the
shit, bro.
killings. Most
I might not be able to
serial
post this
killers
part.
Who abduct victims for sex typically kills them quickly to avoid discovery. The fact that the killer held victims for extended periods, cared for them physically, and then returned their bodies clean and fully
Yeah, that's
clothed
weird,
suggests
bro.
a person or persons for whom the murder was secondary to another purpose. Another interesting aspect of the case ties back to Timothy King. In the weeks following his murder, a mysterious letter arrived at the office of Dr. Bruce Danto,
What
a
was it?
Detroit psychiatrist known for his work with crime victims and perpetrators. The letter was signed only as Alan and claimed to be from the roommate of the killer, whom Alan referred to as Frank. In the letter, Alan detailed aspects of the killings that only the killer would know, demonstrating genuine insider knowledge of the crimes. Alan claimed that Frank was a Vietnam veteran motivated by a desire to get back at the rich people who had sent boys to war. Most significantly, Alan included a photograph of a boy who was not one of the 4 known victims, suggesting either the
There was a
existence
5th?
of additional victims or survivors whose cases had not been officially connected to the series. Alan offered to meet Danto at a local bar to provide additional evidence.
Danto?
And to
Who the fuck
potentially
names their kid
negotiate terms,
Danto?
But the meeting never
It's kind of fire
occurred.
though.
Alan never made
Danto,
contact
what's up,
again,
dude?
and
It's
the
kinda
letter
fire.
has been the subject of
pretty sick.
intense speculation for decades. Some investigators have suggested that Alan was Christopher Bush or another accomplice, attempting to gauge whether prosecution was imminent and potentially seeking immunity. The reference to Frank has been interpreted as either a reference to Francis Sheldon or as a generic coded name for the killer.
Tribe disappearance. Tribeca?
The
That what it said?
Tribeca Mountains in western
Tribeca.
Slovakia have become one
Hell
of
yeah.
Europe's most intriguing mysteries, earning the nickname the Slovak Bermuda Triangle due to a series of documented disappearances spanning over a century. The mountains form a crystalline range located in the inner western Carpathians, positioned
Alright.
approximately 1 hour northwest of Bratislava. The range is 50 kilometers in length and approximately 18 to 20 kilometers in width, with its
What
highest
the
peak
fuck does
reaching
that
over
mean?
2,700 feet above sea level. The range is bordered
Is that
by
bigger than
several
the fucking
towns,
Mount Everest?
including Nitra, Zlat Moravce, Topolkani, and Partizanski.
Why
The
do I not
range
know about
belongs
this
to the
fucking
Pony
shit?
Tree protected landscape area and features 36 marked hiking trails exceeding 200 kilometers
Those
in
are
total
tall
length,
ass
with
trees,
numerous
bro.
caves, rifts, and chasms
Holy
interspersed
shit.
throughout the terrain. Medieval castle ruins
Is
dot
this
the
real?
landscape, and ancient settlements of Celtic and Dacian tribes have left archaeological traces.
Aren't
suggesting
mountains
historical significance in
just
gold
big
mining
ass
and
trees?
metalworking? Despite its relatively unimposing dimensions, the location has witnessed a series of unexplained vanishings spanning near.
What am I watching?
This is gonna
I
be
was
an
about to
awesome
say,
game,
bro,
Max.
what the fuck?
Still can't believe you also bought a new Shell Brothers home. After seeing yours, how could I
Shitty
not?
acting. Get the fuck out of
nearly a
here.
century.
Why
The
can't I be in a
earliest
fucking
prominently
commercial? We
documented
got fucking
disappearance
4
involved a
fags.
forest ranger identified in
Alright,
records
my bad. You
as
can't say that in
A.
2026. I
Samseli,
remember.
a
My fault.
47-year-old professional
Actually, you can say whatever the
forester
fuck you
engaged
want in
in routine
2026.
woodland surveying work. On November 22nd, 1929,
gonna
Samseli
fucking
ventured
stop
into
me.
the snow-covered Tribeca forest for what should have been a standard day of work. Even with his experience with mountain terrain and forest conditions, he never returned from this particular expedition. The circumstances
So
of
what
his
happened?
disappearance generated an immediate official response. Police conducted an intensive investigation that extended into the spring months following the winter when snow had finally receded, theoretically improving search conditions. Despite
Okay.
these organized efforts, Samseli's body was never recovered. Speculation regarding his fate has congregated around the side. Accounts emphasize that the
All
forester
these are coming to be
maintained a
suicides,
solitary
bro.
life,
I don't believe 'em.
reportedly without a spouse or children, and lived in relative isolation.
Wait, what is this story about?
Isolation, according to some,
I have no
could
clue what this
created
part's about, bro. What the fuck am I
psychological
watching?
vulnerability conducive to such actions. However, the theory remains entirely speculative, unsupported by definitive evidence. No
That's a lot of
note
big
was
words right there.
discovered, No eyewitness accounts corroborated self-destructive intentions.
Corroborated?
And no body was ever located
Wait,
to provide physical confirmation. Precisely 1 year after Samseli's disappearance, the mountains claimed a second victim under strikingly similar winter conditions. During the winter season of 1930, an 18-year-old girl named Maria Svazarova was sent out by her mother on a seemingly routine errand. She was to travel between two adjacent villages carrying food provisions. The destination was said to be close by and should have been an easy journey for an able-bodied young adult. Maria never arrived at her destination. This triggered a substantial police search effort. Despite extensive searching, no trace of Maria was located. No body was recovered, no evidence of foul play was definitively identified, and no reasonable narrative emerged to account for her disappearance. 4 years after Maria's disappearance, records document the vanishing of Andrei Murgas, identified as a quarry laborer employed in the extraction industry near the mountain range. After completing a full day's work, Andrei initiated his return to his village, and it was on this journey home that he too would disappear. Aside from his work, there is very little information regarding Andrei, but the most extensively documented and disturbing case involves Walter Fisher, a shoe factory worker employed by the Bata Shoe Company in the town of Partizansky, located near the mountains. Fisher lived by a
It'd be snowing like that
pattern.
there? It's kind of far.
He worked Monday through Saturday at the factory, with Sundays reserved
I low-key,
for
I
visiting
kind of
family
like
members
snow,
in another town.
but I hate
On one
driving
Sunday,
in the
sources
snow.
specify January
Hate that
24th,
shit, bro.
Though documentation
Hate
is
it.
ambiguous, Fisher deviated from this established pattern by deciding to
Rather
undertake
just
a
fucking
hiking
lay in my
expedition
bed.
instead of visiting family. His intended destination
What am I
was the
watching?
Black Castle ruins, a location approximately 23 kilometers distant from his place of work. Reaching this destination and returning the same day would have required traversing nearly 50 kilometers of predominantly wooded terrain, which many people deemed unfeasible. As you're likely expecting, Fisher disappeared in the midst of his hike. No one at the factory took notice of his absence until later on. The corporation apparently assumed he had simply abandoned his employment or decided to depart. More disturbingly, his wife did not report him missing until approximately 4 weeks had elapsed. There seems to be
that's
no
a little
confirmed
fishy.
reasoning as
Wait,
to why
that's a
she
little
waited
fishy.
so long to report him missing, but some speculate that it involved fear related to political circumstances unfolding in Slovakia during March 1939. By March 14th, 1939, Slovakia had declared independence from Czechoslovakia and positioned itself as a German client state, creating a period of acute political instability and potential danger to individuals, particularly those reporting to authorities during uncertain governmental transitions. On May 8, 1939, approximately 4 months following his disappearance, Fisher
1939. Did we just hear that right?
Unconscious in a field near Zlatmoravce, a city situated approximately 35 kilometers from his point of origin.
All the history we've ever learned is all fucking fake, bro. Shit's all fake. Don't believe anything you hear in history class. Deadass. It's all fabricated. It's all fucking lies. Everything they teach you in public schools, bro, is to fucking brainwash you and to think into all this shit's real, bro. And none of this shit has happened, bro. Rosa Parks, her husband had a car, bro. Think about it, bro. Come on. Helen Keller, it's not even a real fucking character, bro. Fucking fiction. The fuck you think that was a real person? Hell no. Hell no.
From the Black Castle destination he had intended to reach. His face and body were covered with severe burns. He could not communicate coherently or provide reliable testimony regarding his 4-month absence. The burn injuries present one of the case's most puzzling elements. One explanation suggests that extended wilderness exposure resulted in severe sunburn accumulated across the 4-month period.
Oh, that's super sick. Compass, super. Yeah, that's super sick.
Theoretically, in a
we getting fucking mouse ads now, bro. Fuck out of here, bro.
Rain could produce unusual exposure.
I got a mouse, bro. I got a mouse, bro.
Higher elevations could cause more pronounced
my bad.
burns.
How do I get this off my screen? How do I get this off my screen? I don't know how to get it off my screen. I don't know how to get it off my screen.
Cold exposure causes severe dermal injury.
Stuck on my screen.
Resembling burns. It's also possible that they were caused by accidental contact with fire,
Wait, no,
potentially in a forest setting where Fisher might have maintained survival.
Is it one of those?
It's
like
warmth. Two less explanations involve chemical exposure or
no, that's like a goodbye.
Injury by other persons.
Oh no, I'm trying to do.
In a abduction and torture type scenario, he had evidently suffered severe trauma that substantially diminished his mental functioning.
Why?
He spent the remainder of his life institutionalized in a mental health facility,
for
never
what?
recovering sufficiently.
What did he ever do?
Testimony about his experience, and ultimately died in institutional
Bro, I need
care.
lotion, bro. My arms
Documentation
are ashy
regarding
as
the
hell.
official investigation appears to have been severely compromised by historical circumstances. The Fisher
actually
case
super
occurred
ashy,
in early
bruh.
1939 during the precise moment of Slovak political transition and immediately preceding the September 1939 German invasion of Poland, which initiated European-wide warfare and chaos. Records from this tumultuous period were subject to
It's a
loss,
big-ass mountain,
destruction, German confiscation,
Bro, aren't all mountains just the roots of the big ass giant trees we used to have? And all the valleys and shit was the ocean, bruh? Think about think about the shit in Arizona. What's the big ass like dent in the ground? The big ass shit Arizona. I don't know what it's called. But isn't that just like isn't there a civilization in that shit? Are people living in the Arizona crack?
and subsequent post-war archival disruption. Another
don't
notable
know.
disappearance involves the couple of Jan and Elena Balanovich in February 1966. Their vehicle was discovered
The Arizona
approximately
rock
5
walls?
kilometers from Jelinek,
What is
a
that shit
village
called,
within the
bro?
Tribec region positioned near a forest entrance.
I
When
don't
found,
know.
the car's doors were open, suggesting either a hasty exit or that the vehicle had been opened subsequent to the couple's departure. No
Why?
trace of the couple themselves was discovered despite organized police search and investigation efforts. This particular incident is another in this series that has very little in the way of public records. While skeptics tend to veer toward conventional causes to explain these disappearances, others tend to lean into the possibility of a shared aspect connecting the cases. They argue that
could
the
be
mountains
it.
constitute a legitimate geographic anomaly.
2 photos with disturbing backstories. Ooh, that's a Bobby. Hold on. Ooh. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. If you guys want to see more videos like this, comment down below. I'm going to catch you on the next one. So, woo.